take a few questions now, if there are any.
Okay, so what would you like to see? Like, see the cameras move? Like, what would you like to see?
So first and foremost, we believe that we're exercising like our fundamental right to protest. Like we have a right to be here, we have a right to protest. So directly, we'd like to see the cameras removed. There's a reason for this. It's impossible for us as these protesters to exercise basic principles like community democratic voting when the very people we are trying to protest are constantly surveilling us. The people who, like the decisions we're making are impacting the administration, and the administration has complete and total access to every conversation we make, right? Every conversation we have. So it's not just the removal of surveillance for surveillance's sake. It is critical for the fundamental right of protest to continue to exist on this campus, for there to be a permanent commitment to not surveil protests. This is a new phenomena, but it doesn't need to be. It can be taken out at any time. So yes, that's what we'd like to see.
Okay. Now, I know those ones, you mentioned those ones, they were pretty well brought to surveillance of the encampment, but there's other ones that have been here for a long time. Like, so would those stay? Like, I'm just kind of curious, well, how would it work? I mean, I guess they do have the right to put up cameras for surveillance, for what they say is security, right? I mean, am I right or am I wrong?
So while they do have a right to put up cameras, that's very true, right? Do they have a right to be sharing that footage with the police or with campus safety, especially with regards to protesters? Less true. Again, like I said, we have a fundamental right to protest. That right to protest is unconditional. It cannot be policed, it cannot be surveilled. So whether you want to put up cameras or not, if they want to keep them on, all I would say is the university must reassess its relationship with campus safety and with Toronto Police Services, because the current status quo, if the university wants cameras purely for the protection of its property and to prevent vandalism and such and so on and so forth, it has to publicly commit and put into policy that this footage is not being shared with police, is not going to be used to police protesters. And ultimately, this is a longer conversation to be had. In our short term right now, what matters is that our three demands are actioned on, not that surveillance policies are reassessed. And for our three demands to be actioned on, either the university unconditionally adopts them or allows us to exercise our fundamental right to protest in a way that is democratic, in a way that is principled, in a way that's transparent. So yes, these are two conversations to be had, and that's our position on this. Yeah.
Right.
I would just add quickly to this that the use of security cameras to monitor a site is very different than what privacy experts have confirmed to us, which is the presence of technologies that are actually working in concert with Toronto Police Services. It's very different to bring in technologies that are being used with policing in the city, especially in a context when there is growing concern by human rights experts about the criminalization of dissent, as we've seen in the G20 and during the Black Lives Matter movement and many other times. So there's a very real difference between using security cameras generally and working in concert with the Toronto Police Services in terms of surveillance, which is being described as very highly plausible and have